This is a follow-up to a video I saw online about pulling posts out of the ground that are stuck from really hard, solid ground. So I didn't happen to have what was on that video, but I did happen to have a floor jack for a car and some spare 3/16 cable. I don't know that 3/16 was necessarily required, but I can tell you just standard wire was not good enough. I had broke many different variations on that. So the post I'm trying to pull out is this green post, 1 inch, and I believe it's aluminum and actually pretty soft. You have to be careful not to crush it when you're trying to attach to it. And the problem is that spike at the end has a lip on it, and when the ground gets really hard, it just doesn't want to pull past the solid ground. So I suppose another approach might be to grind that lip down some, which would make it easier for sure. Anyway, you have to pull it out. So I found these clamps for a ground wire on piping in the electrical area at Home Depot, and it's pretty handy because it clamps right onto that 1 inch pipe without destroying it, enough so that you can pull on it without it slipping. And my cable fits right through that slot that's supposed to be for the ground wire. So that holds it pretty firm. So then at the jack end, didn't have any real way to clamp it on there, so I just wrapped it around and used I guess you call this a wire clamp, steel wire clamp, often used for the cabling. So it just keeps that fixed to the jack. So then you got to be careful as you're jacking it up, because as you can see, the jack's going to keep pulling away from what you're trying to pull out of the ground. And if you go too far with it, it's going to start bending the pipe. So you want to loosen that clamp and slide it further down. Do it a little at a time if you really want to totally preserve your post. Now, of course, the other thing I could have done is clamp to my handle for my jack with the cable, and then just put a block of wood or whatever, a fulcrum down to start jacking the post out of the ground. Problem with that is I could probably only do that a little at a time. When it have even more times, I'd have to move the clamp further down the post as I'm trying to get it out. And unfortunately, in my case, I had pounded it in a couple feet, so I had a couple feet to pull it out, and that meant a lot of readjusting of the clamp on the post as I got to the end of its travel. So, hope that's helpful to anybody trying this out. Worked pretty well for me once I figured out how to do it.